What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host, Vernon. This is Red River. Let's fish that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I made my way to Maple Grove Rappy Park. My idea for today was going to be fishing the Red River next to the Rappy Park, but unfortunately the parking zone at the Rappy Park is a pay to park parking zone. I'm still in the park, just in a different little spot. Now, I chose this particular spot today for one simple reason: I don't have any expectations for this spot. Now, what do I mean with that? Well, you need to understand that this is actually my fourth time this week going fishing. The first trip I made this week was with the wife. Wasn't making a video. She actually managed to catch a nice little channel catfish, but I, on the other hand, got skunked. Second trip I made was to Ewell Drain. Lost a couple of pike, and at the end of the day, also got skunked. That's a bit of a shame because that is actually a pretty area. Would have liked to do a video out there. And after all of that, I said, let's go to Lockport. We go catch some big catfish. And at the end of the day, I only managed to catch one little catfish. All right, so we have a fish on. Not getting any of the gold eye on the little bobber that I was hoping to get. So I swapped over to a different setup to try and get some gold eye. Trying to keep my baits in one area. We get a tiny little channel catfish. First little fish landed for today. Tiny little channel catfish. We are, of course, looking for the bigger ones. Happy to get on the board with a fish. Let's get him back to the water. There he goes. And I decided I'm not going to do a video there. One little catfish at Lockport is not exciting. And that's when I realized that I'm trying to impose my will on the videos. Of course, I'm planning these videos. I want them to be in a certain way. I want them to be good, have lots of action. Things aren't always going according to plan. And for that simple reason, I decided this little spot, somewhere where I don't have any expectations, we can just get some baits out into the water and we see what we get, if we get anything. Alright, so we're getting a bunch of tiny little taps. Just want to check the baits, make sure we don't have a small fish on there. I'm also using a new reel with some braided line on there. Want to see how that works and feels as well. Hoping to get some fish on that. So nothing on there. Clearly we do have some small fish in the area, busy stealing baits. Alright, we have a little fish on. It's a little baby carp. Been having something steal my baits, small fish, so I brought it in a bit closer to see if I can get one of the small fish, and we happen to get a tiny little carp. Now let's get this guy back to the water. Thanks for biting, little carp. Giving him a bit of a drop. You can see him swimming there. Just because we have a bit of a drop off. It's a little muddy bank with a drop off, so I'm giving him a little bit of a toss into the drop off there. But he swam off, all good. First little fish landed, tiny little carp. Like I said, that was rather in close. We have a little hit on our rod. This one is way out there. Does not feel very big. feeling a few head shakes. And we have ourselves a little channel catfish. Rather vocal little guy. But there we go, little channel catfish landed as well. You'd expect to get some of these from the Red River. Get this guy back to the water. Off he goes. Strong kick, but he's off. Alright, there we go. And another fish on. Not had anything big as of yet. Nothing to test out the new reel with. I think it may have just come off. Felt a bit weird. And indeed, probably didn't get a good hook on the fish. Gonna rebait, get it back out there. Hopefully we get something a bit bigger so we can test this reel, see how the drag works. That was actually a little red horse, but he came loose, jumped. I could see the red on his tail. So what happened is my line started moving, so I just reeled in, saw the little red horse we had on there. So I'm not going to count that as a species we landed today. He didn't actually get that little red horse all the way to the bank, so didn't land him. It was cool to see him at least. Got ourselves a nice, decent little stone cat. This one is too big to use for bait, so we're going to get this one back to the water. First little stone cat to show up today. We have another little baby stone cat. This one is actually perfect size to be live lining. And I just lost a big fish out there where it broke off the hook. So maybe putting this one on is not a bad idea. Right, we have another little fish on. Bottom one, the stone cat, that's our bait. This is a little sauger. No, this is a sauger because of all of the little spots he has on his dorsal fin there. So tiny little sauger landed for today as well. So another little species landed for today. Gonna drop him back to the water. Off he goes. Alright, ladies and gents, now I've not yet seen the footage or edited this video by the time doing this outro. I don't know what fish I will be putting in this video, but I do kind of think that if you've seen one baby channel catfish, you've kind of seen them all. Now that being said, it is quite easy to get demoralized or even downright mopey about not having a video go the way you want to when you're trying to catch that one specific fish and you can't find any. When making these videos, of course, I want the videos to be epic, so it adds just to the fact of sometimes the video is just not working. And the point for this video here today specifically is just to remind myself that it's not always about the clicks, the likes, views. I sometimes get lost in the making of the videos and I quite forget that it is actually about the fishing and the fish themselves. If I think about the fishing out there today, it was actually a pretty good day. Caught a few different species. I only had the one big fish today that took out the line from the reel, and then sadly I lost that fish when my hook came loose. Little mistake on my part. But all in all, pretty good day with a bunch of different species out there. And that's the important part. It's not about what you want. You need to be able to enjoy what's on offer. Now this type of video just recharges my batteries, gets me ready to go and focus and try and target specific fish again. So more of those videos coming soon. But I want to thank you guys for following along on this one. Please do give me a little thumbs up for the fish we got out there. Feel free to ask any questions down below in the comments. And like always, thank you guys for following along. I'll see you next time.